Hi, and welcome. You're listening to Beer Ladies Podcast. I'm Joanne, and with me today is Lisa, Sarah, and Bean, and we're going to be talking about everything Thanksgiving. So before we start, just a reminder that we're on YouTube if you prefer to watch, or you can also download wherever you get your podcasts. We're also on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Beer Ladies Podcast, and the Twitter Beer Ladies Pod. So like, subscribe, share. So to kick it off. So Thanksgiving, it's not a big thing here in Ireland, I suppose. So I don't know a huge amount about it, except what I've seen in films and that kind of thing. So maybe one of you guys want to give us an idea, talk about it a bit. Lisa, do you want to start?
I'll start out, and I am definitely not going to bring my full historian smackdown here. We're going to have a little bit, we'll interlace bits here and there, but we're going to be more casual today. But I'll talk first about American Thanksgiving. We'll throw to Bean to talk about Canadian Thanksgiving because they are a little bit different.
Yeah.
I've done both though, and I will say I am wearing a Roots sweatshirt tonight for those who are watching. So I figured I'd be sort of Canadian adjacent. Tonight. But you'll hear the story about American Thanksgiving and people talk about the first Thanksgiving when the Pilgrims come and they're all very, very sad. But then because they're starving and they did not plan ahead, like these are people who did not plan ahead. That part is sort of true. And then the local Native Americans help them out with some food. Yay, everyone's happy. They all share a feast. That's the very, 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 very simplified version of what it's based on. It actually doesn't become a national holiday across the United States until 1942. It's sort of it's kind of a regional holiday. It moves around a bit before then. All kinds of strange things happen about it, but we can get into it too. There is actually a very interesting little beer connection, but a lot of I'll say a lot has been made of not very much in some ways, and then in other ways we've sort of played down a lot. But now today it is sort of, as a friend of mine who lives in Kentucky likes to call it, food, fun, and fellowship. So I think that's a good way to sum it up. Although, Joanne, as you were saying, if you've seen any American films, it's all very tropey of people having fights with their relatives or
Yeah, yeah.
being in horrible travel situations. And those are all also very valid. But I'll pause because I bet Canadian Thanksgiving is just nicer in some ways, right? That's the stereotype.
That is the stereotype. But you know that the more it's different, the more it's the same.
Exactly.
And especially the more it's the same, the more it's the same. So there's nothing really different about the shipping over to the new world, displacing people, settlement experiment that
Right.
you
There's the bummer
doesn't
part no matter
matter.
what. Yes.
Whatever side of the 49th parallel you happen
Yes.
to be on, there's like a tradition of a harvest time festival, a coming together, a definitely goodbye to the summer, and a celebration of wintry flavors, which has now become maybe a little bit iconic in terms of the flavors.
Yeah,
I
that's a
think.
good point. Yeah, and I know. I think Sarah, you've got some interesting flavored beers. Maybe we'll do a quick round
Yeah.
of what are you drinking? We've tried to be
Yeah,
sort of
I
thematic.
forgot to do that bit.
Oh,
Good.
no.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
And I think
Thanks
Joanne,
a
why don't we
lot.
start with you? You've got a lovely looking beer.
I have a local to me anyway, Dungarvan Brewing Company,
Oh,
Copper
it's beautiful.
Coast Red Ale. I've had that one before. It's a nice one, and I like to try drink local stuff when I can.
Absolutely. Let's see what I've got. I've saved some pumpkin beers, so I've got the Trouble pumpkin. So we'll
Yay.
see how that goes. Yes, saved it up just for this episode because I do think I'd say more in the United States than in Canada, but you certainly see pumpkin beer all the way up through Thanksgiving. I don't know if it's as much in Canada, but certainly in the US, your pumpkin beer goes on through Canada and then goes on through Thanksgiving, and then either it's all completely sold out or it lingers for a lot longer than you wanted to, depending on how the harvest went that year.
Yeah. And you are a stronger woman than I. All our pumpkin beer disappeared a while ago. I don't know where it went.
And I do
but-
love the Trouble one. I love that, they're local guys. They do it differently every year. So it's nice to
Oh,
It is
support
nice,
local.
yeah.
the Trouble
Yeah.
one is fantastic. I wish I had some right now. I don't, unfortunately, but what I do have is the Hope Red IPA,
Oh.
the winter seasonal for
That is
2020.
really good.
It is so good. We picked this up a couple
Amazing.
weeks ago, a can or two, and we just were like, wow, this is so good. I have to get this one for tonight. And yeah, I think on the back of it, I'm just reading it. I like it when they tell you what to pair it with because
I
I'm
love
not
that.
good at that. It's like they want you to pair it with a wintry stew or a weekend cheese board. And
Oh,
I
that
would
sounds so good.
definitely have this on a Thanksgiving, like, when people put out cheese and crackers,
Oh yeah.
a really, like, lame charcuterie board or whatever, and you nibble your way to the big event. I would have that during that moment. So,
Absolutely. It's a lovely beer.
what about you, Bean?
Mm. Well, I have a couple of things. I have a, so I'm taking it a little bit easy tonight, but I do have some props. I have some props.
It's like a makeup guru's video when they show their empties, except you're with the cans.
This is exactly it. So I have a couple of things that I would do exactly that little run up to the actual meal, and then with the actual meal. And one thing I found that was really good was the Backbeat Western Herd wheat
Ooh.
beer with pearl and Sats hops.
Ooh, lovely.
I want to
And
try that one.
So
Yeah.
I liked that. I thought it was easy to pair with the whole everything until dessert.
Mm.
And the same with I happen to like the Unsocial Creatures dry hop saison. For
Oh,
me,
lovely.
that was something that I could feel myself being quite happy with from the appetizers through the main course.
Yeah,
I
can see that the saison going well with some nice, like, the farmhouse flavors with the cheese and the crackers.
Yeah, I love that because I think that's the important thing about any Thanksgiving is you have to kind of pace yourself. You don't want to be hitting a double IPA or something like that first
Yeah.
thing, or you were in for a long night or
Yeah.
long afternoon, depending. Because I think so much of Thanksgiving too, depending on how you do it, and I've done it in a lot of different ways. I think my favorite way to do Thanksgiving when you're in the U.S., if you're near enough, is to go to Canada for the weekend because then everything's open. You can get whatever food you want. No prep. It's a wonderful thing. Don't have to deal with as much travel hassle. But that's been my hack when I've lived close enough to the border. But or gone to Disneyland and same thing. Although obviously then you want to tip well because other people are not having holidays, so you have to think about that too. But if you are doing the whole sort of big family get together thing, probably half the people are cooking, and it's a very long day. So obviously, you again pace yourself. If you're starting in with something strong, you may not make it through. You may be that person, fighting with an angry relative in the corner, and that it's not it's not good form. Don't do that.
You need to stay sober to dinner at least.
Absolutely.
Well, sober-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely in the category of big family get together. Not every year, but that would definitely be my Thanksgiving and Christmases, where half of the family, like the women folk, are in the kitchen as it is, and everybody else is sitting on the couch, like listening to music, or I don't know, talking about things that you don't really want. If you don't want to be in that room and talk about those things, you get out and, like, no, I'm gonna go wash dishes. I volunteer.
Yeah. There's some self-selection you have to do. Agree.
Yeah. So in Canada for Thanksgiving, what kind of out? I was gonna ask about Canada.
Yeah, take two. So what do you do in Canada?
Yeah. Well, I was like, wait a second, Joanne should ask that question.
Oh no, it's okay.
Well, look. So what do you do in Canada? You do the same thing, but a little bit earlier. On like, was it the 12th of October this year?
October, yeah.
Like
It's a
quite
different
bit
date and
earlier.
everything. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's because the harvest comes earlier up there.
Oh, that makes sense. I wondered why.
That's my conjecture. Whether it's substantiated or not, I couldn't say.
And is it celebrating the same thing, kind of?
It's celebrating the same thing. It's a harvest turkey, cranberries shaped like a can, a la Ernest P. Worrell type of family gathering.
Hey, let's not knock the canned cranberry. They give you the lines. You know exactly where to cut. Perfect.
It's really good, actually.
I love it. I was thinking about it earlier and explaining this, going, damn it, I really want some cranberries right now.
Classic ocean spray.
Yep.
Yeah, so Canadian Thanksgiving is just a bit earlier, and I think it's not quite as huge of a deal as it is south of the border.
Yeah,
So I think it
I've
would be a big
certainly
deal
felt
there.
it's a little more low key, like more things were still open, whereas like in the US, everything closes by like
Hmm.
5 p.m. or so. It's a mad dash of people running to supermarkets and things like that. And
Yeah.
I've certainly been in Canada for Canadian Thanksgiving, because I think there is another similarity where you have a lot of kind of fun runs, turkey trots, that kind of thing. And that I've loved going up to Canada to do because you still have good weather in British Columbia. If you're lucky, that time of year, and so it's you can still get out and run, and then feel like you can go and have a big meal, and that's very nice. I've always enjoyed that. But I guess the U.S. almost does the turkey trot the next day, really often
You
on
have to
the
walk it
Friday.
off. You
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
walk it off. Oof.
yeah, absolutely. But I felt like it was maybe a little bit less commercialized, but again, it may be just smaller population. It's not quite as all encompassing, perhaps.
I've heard here from my Irish friends that they think that I guess what they think about American Thanksgiving is that it's a bigger deal than Christmas. And I've never thought that.
I
I've
was just
never,
going to ask that actually.
yeah. Do you think that it's bigger for us than Christmas? Because
That's
I don't think so.
It's a bigger travel holiday, which is
Yeah.
interesting because you have less time, and that's what makes it worse and more sort of stressful because you have to get wherever you're going and back in
Yeah.
basically
A
a
short
long
amount of
weekend.
time. It's like
Yeah,
four days. People usually get
yeah,
Wednesday to Sunday off, and that's about it.
yeah, and it's horrendous. If there's weather anywhere, it just makes everything a nightmare. And certainly when I lived in New York and my husband's family were in Philly, where you take the train, that sounds really straightforward. But no, if you're going the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, it is an absolute just disaster. And even though you're going, on a really straightforward trip, a relatively short distance, but it's terrible if you're flying. It's even worse. And I cannot imagine that people are traveling this year, but they seem to be. So that is a whole other thing we'll just put to one side and pretend isn't happening because I can't
Put a
process
pin in that one.
that's
No,
happening. That's nuts to me.
I
But
I think there's less of a buildup for Thanksgiving. There's a much bigger buildup for Christmas. Like here, I refuse to do anything Christmas oriented until the day after Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving
mm,
Day, like that's when I'll put my Christmas movies on. Walking in my neighborhood right now, actually somebody had their Christmas lights up before Halloween. And
oh,
I'm chalking that one up to 2020.
Yeah.
right, because
We
time has no
we
meaning.
had ours up in March,
And
April for a while. So
I guess
yeah.
I would leave my Christmas decorations up longer than people would here, but that's because I wait longer to put them up. But no, I don't think Thanksgiving's a bigger holiday. I think it's a little different. The focus is different. So
It's a bigger food holiday because I feel like Christmas, although it is sort of foodie, is not as big a food holiday as it is in Europe, at least in my experience. So I wonder if that's part of the difference too. Although I do like that, again, because the sort of your options for your Thanksgiving food are so kind of traditional and prescribed that you kind of do that again in some
yeah,
ways for Christmas, which is a little weird. And I will say that's my big complaint. This is why I'm a bad American. I don't like Thanksgiving food. I don't like any of it. So my memories of Thanksgiving as a child are sitting with a bread roll and being sad because I don't like turkey. I don't like stuffing. I don't like any of those sort of traditional things. And obviously, as an adult, you can go make your own food, and that's okay. But like when I was a little kid, being like, I don't like any of it. Everyone's mean. So I have this weird hangover, if you
Oh.
like. But again, that's why we've made our own traditions. So
That's the
and now
thing,
I can
isn't
have
it?
beer, so that's good.
yeah.
So how do you guys find it then being away for Thanksgiving? Is it um like do you guys still celebrate it here, or do you kind of just wait till Christmas kind of thing, or
We still celebrate it. My husband, he's Irish, but he loves Thanksgiving. Probably, it's not even a probably. He likes it because he can watch football. He likes NFL. So he looks forward to that. He likes the food a lot. I think he's secretly an American in heart. So we do celebrate it. Although, like, I think this will be my seventh Thanksgiving abroad. Um, it's interesting when you have to celebrate it yourself without your family. Like when you're a kid, it's your parents always do all the cooking. And then when you start to become an adult and you have to do that, and then you're like calling your mom or emailing for like the recipe for green bean casserole. And then you're like, I can't find the ingredients here. I don't know what I'm doing. And you realize how hard it all is to like
A lot
put
of
it
work,
all
yeah.
together. It's a really hard. And then
It's
in
a lot of
Europe,
work, yeah.
in Europe, like with our tiny ass kitchens, you're just like, I'm not gonna like. I tried like the first year of our marriage, I wanted to make it really special, and I went all out. But now I'm just like, nope. Let's just pick a couple dishes that I can like. I'm not gonna get too stressed about this. I'm gonna do what I can in advance. I only have one tiny oven, and it's not that awesome. So we're just going to minimize it, and it's just going to be exactly what we want. We're 2 people. We can't eat as much as a family of like, however, like if 15 people came over. So it's different, but I still throw on the Macy's Day Parade. Is that even going on this year?
They are doing it this year, although, socially distanced and so on. And that is something I look forward to. But that's because I'm a Broadway nerd and I always want to see when the shows perform something. But
yeah, I was gonna say, who always hosts it? Wasn't it Regis Philbin would do it sometimes?
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
No, or is that New Year's Eve? We can cut that part out, but I was like, who hosts it? But anyways, yeah, the Macy's Day Parade was I always put that on, and then you follow that up with some station would always have Miracle on 34th Street, and then I would watch White Christmas, and at that point you're like eating your meal and you're kind of drunk, and I don't know, you fall asleep for your nap. So we kind of do the same thing
here. It is what eases you into the Christmas film season, though. Absolutely. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I could kind of go on and on about being home or being away, or maybe sitting this one out for this year and how I feel. People have sat out a Christmas or a Thanksgiving before, and people will sit one out again. But this year, at least, like everybody will at least have understood that there's a valid reason if you have to miss a Christmas or miss a Thanksgiving, if you have to Cinderella out of a gathering early, or just, Batman and high hats. It might feel alone and bad,
or
but it's just the one.
I was gonna say, like in the news lately, they're talking about how, Irish, they always make it a big deal on television here on RTE, like Irish people coming back to Ireland to see their family for Christmas, and how maybe that's not going to be possible for a lot of people this year. And I think maybe it might, for some, help them understand or empathize with the, I don't want to say plight, because I live in a privileged position to be able to live abroad.
We all chose to be.
But yeah, it is like, now maybe you understand how much it kind of does suck to not see your family. And I haven't spent Christmas with with my family in a while, and it's no different really for us. But I do feel sorry for people, but I don't know. You just got to tough it out, make the best of it.
Yeah, and don't overthink it. Because if I could go back and say like kind and friendly words to my younger self, I would just be like, don't overthink it. Just be kind to yourself. It's
because it is really high stress for some
yourself
people.
off the hook.
Yeah, it can be. And again, even if you're, whether it's because you are seeing family or not seeing family, like both can really be a big stress driver. And it's it can be a lot, not just the cooking, but there's all this other just sort of planning that can go into it. But I don't know. I don't know. We haven't really decided what we're going to do this year. I mean, I think we have always sort of shied away from the sort of, let's meet up with other random Americans and do a thing. Because we're like, not our.
It's not my thing either. It's a special holiday, and that is, again, stress I don't really want. And I kind of just want to chill out and be able to call my parents later and talk to them. And
exactly. We'll just I mean, I haven't taken the day off work or anything, so we'll just do a normal thing, and we'll probably Zoom the family, and that'll be that. And that's kind of what we did even when living in the US, but across the country, because it's just not practical to fly from one end to the other with 2 kids and back in a weekend. Effectively, it's just not. It's not worth the effort. It's better to just say hi to everyone on the phone and all have some lovely food somewhere and then just catch up later, because it's yeah, traveling at that time of year, no matter what, is, like I said, stressful. When you're doing it with kids, it's even worse because there's just, you're upping the degree of difficulty, and nobody needs that stress.
Yeah.
So
And this year is the year to let yourself off the hook.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
If
Do
there
not
ever was a year,
stay home. Stay
Yeah,
home.
definitely.
Yeah,
I think
this
we're
is it.
feeling very much like that about Christmas as well. That
Yeah.
just, don't stress about it. We had all these plans of what we were supposed to do, but that's not going to happen. So
yeah.
why Christmas
It's
just
still
the two of
hard
us.
though. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like that, we
Yeah.
can, I'm not that far from my family. I
Mm.
can pop up for a day or whatever and see them another time. So
Yeah.
it's not a
Mm.
huge
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
Lisa, how you're talking about the childhood experience, the prep being
Oh yeah.
all day, turkey taking hours.
Yeah.
And now I can actually, I'm happy I can kind of handle myself in the kitchen, and I've learned to spatchcock a turkey instead of stuffing it, and accidentally not having thought it enough. And like now I'm actually quite happy to make the family meal. But
I
yeah,
can't
I
do
remember
that,
it being
but
a whole process.
yeah, and again, I think kind of like you were saying, Sarah, is very gendered. At least when I was growing up, it's like the women would all go one way and the men would go another way. And then, and this is probably more of a sort of 70s thing. I feel like everyone would take breaks to smoke, and then it would all kind of go back and forth. And I don't know if that still happens. I mean, I've not been to one of those big family gatherings in, gosh, probably 15 or more years. But no, it'd have to be more than that. Not since I've had kids. I was just like, I'm not taking everyone traveling everywhere. It's too much work. But it was always, the women would do the whole day working, and taking turns. The men would be watching football, and I can't cook and was never hanging out kind of with the women, so I'd be like hanging out with the man doing the football, and I don't even watch football, but that was kind of this weird thing where they would kind of let me hang out, but I wasn't quite welcome at the same time. And I think that's very different now. Like I've never experienced, people my age, but with my family, it was always kind of this very strange I don't know, hangover from something. It was just very, clearly cut. You do this or that, and we'll let you kind of be here in the middle, but you don't quite belong. So I think that was the other thing that I never quite gelled with.
Yeah, I'd say for me too, it was that generation, and I really liked being with my aunt and having that.
I have to say I enjoyed being in the kitchen
crowded.
because it meant I could snack the whole day, and I don't know, I did all the fun tasks.
Snacking is good.
But it was also because
Yeah.
we had small kitchens, so you really couldn't fit that many people. It's like if you don't have a purpose, get out.
Right.
Like just go sit somewhere else. And
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
we would I would go in and out and talk with the men and stuff. But it was definitely women folk, men folk. And I never thought anything of it. And it actually, in my family, it doesn't bother me because my family isn't, I don't know, they're not
right. They're not trying to
assholes. They're not saying anything about it. It's just the way things are. And I'm sorry, but I can't trust my dad or my uncles to cook an entire Thanksgiving dinner. That's not going to happen. I want my grandmother's cooking. So
oh, funny. It's funny. Although I will say I had a revelation with when having a Thanksgiving with friends, and one friend's mother had come in again from Kentucky, different from Kentucky, and her mom turned up and was helping out with the cooking, but everyone participated. It was lovely and nice. But her mother made this amazing baked mac and cheese, very Southern kind of soul food mac and cheese. And I had never seen that at a Thanksgiving, because it's the variations are so regional that you don't, unless you sort of have them, you're like, what? So I was like, a whole new world is open for me. I didn't know this was even a thing. I didn't have to starve this whole time. I could have had amazing mac and cheese. Oh my God. So it's interesting too that, again, there are these really interesting regional variations, but unless you kind of grow up with them, you don't see them.
Yeah, there's definitely stuff in the South that you wouldn't see. So I'm from Nashville. But my mom's side of the family, she's from Minnesota. And so I spent more Christmases up there, like Thanksgiving in Nashville and Christmas in Minnesota. So you would get the Midwestern food for Christmas, but it's basically the same thing as Thanksgiving. So it counts for both. But they had one dish that would be passed around, and I ate it. And as a kid, I never thought anything weird about it until years went by and I grew up and I traveled. And then I came back and I was like, this is weird. I ate this? You make this? And it's It's called green salad. I think it's called green salad. I'm trying to think if there's another word for it, but it's
Is
like
it like a 7-Up salad,
Yeah, is it
like
a
a jelly
7-Up?
mold?
I can't actually remember what's inside of it. I think there's like fruit pieces like apple or
Does
pineapple.
it
I'm not sure.
jiggle? I think
Is it a
that's
Jello salad though?
It's kind of, and there's
Or-
marshmallows on top.
yes. No,
And they call it salad. And I'm like,
yes.
there's nothing
nothing
remotely
salad-like.
salad-like
Yes.
about this. And why is this green salad with marshmallows sitting next to my honey baked ham? Why? Why is this going together? I'm sorry.
That is
Can we get a
No,
beer?
my aunt made
No.
one.
Can we get a beer pairing for green salad?
Oh my god. Yeah, and there's a bunch of, like you said, these weird Midwestern things that don't happen other places. But oh yeah, what would you pair with them? I mean,
I
oh my
nominate
god.
the
This-
Rascals
sorry.
Yankee White
oh,
IPA.
good idea. Good idea.
I was
IPA
gonna
means
say
Belgian wheat beer and orange peel.
I
maybe?
could see that. Yeah, because you need something
Mhm.
that's got a little bit of, something to it, a little bit of bitterness to kind of offset that. Because they
I
do
was
tend to
gonna-
be like those marshmallows.
yeah.
Oh.
I was gonna say this is like a genius idea for a craft brewery. Guys, hit me
Well,
up.
Rascals does it with pizza.
That's
And actually, Brickyard had a Dot Brew hazy IPA with, it was kind of amazing with truffle parm
oh.
chips. It was
Huh.
almost like poutine-esque.
Ooh,
Man, that was a
poutine.
good thing.
I don't is there poutine in Ireland? I don't know.
Yes, I've
Really?
had it at an
Poutine.
Airfield Trust kind of food festival day. There was a truck, and I don't remember what it was called, but there is a poutine truck,
But did they have
like
cheese
food
curds?
Oh, how
truck here.
funny.
Yes,
Like,
Oh, really?
really?
yes, they ordered them from
Oh.
somewhere specially.
Wow.
That sounds
Ooh.
amazing. Is there a Canadian bar anywhere in Dublin? Because I feel like almost every other city somewhere has a Canadian bar, but where there's hockey on and
Hmm.
just
The best place that I
I've
think
not
of,
come across
Yeah.
one.
the Woolshed, but that's a Brazilian bar, but they're also a sports
Yeah.
bar, so you would watch hockey there.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
That's where I would have spent like a single Canada Day celebration was at the Woolshed.
The Woolshed also had
Some random New Zealanders.
yeah.
Right.
They also would have had a Thanksgiving Day. So
Right. Yeah. We wish the United States would also be in lockdown because, guys, it's going to be a bad December if you're all off doing your thing. Stay home. But anyway, stop
I think
editorializing. Stay home.
a couple of people from Georgia Tech made an app for that sort of divides the case numbers by the population and gives you a percent, sort of like a weather map
Oh.
forecast for if you're planning to
Oh,
visit
gosh.
a county or a township or a state. Somewhere, at least the map is for the states that they're working on. And of course, in your particular group of people, some people may be partying and some people may be
Sure.
all staying home. So you couldn't
Yeah.
necessarily
yeah,
use it,
broad
but just to give
numbers,
you an idea.
absolutely. Oh gosh. Yeah, are there other foods that are sort of unique to Thanksgiving in Canada beyond the usual ones, or that are maybe regional? I'd be curious about that.
Well, so for me, my my life partner's family turkey was the maple brined bird.
Oh, okay.
So
ooh.
it would have been like a no stuffing maple syrup plus salt
Hmm.
plus water, and
Oh,
leave that in the bath overnight. Not like the
Right,
bathtub,
yeah.
but in the brine in the fridge. My family basted the stuffed bird with its juices. So with the classic, the the turkey
Yeah.
baster with a
Oh, yeah,
bulb, and you
yeah.
turn the
yeah.
bird around in the oven, and the breadcrumbs, onion, celery, sage, pork sausage stuffing took hours. And so now, of course, I refer you back to your own dear serious eats for all of your
Yes.
spatchcocking turkey needs, which is just
Ah,
much
Mhm.
faster and much more even. It's just
Right.
better. So now my firm tradition is either butter basted a la sola, or maybe even the crispy skin. Like you can get the
Oh,
turkey
yeah.
skin or the chicken skin a little bit crispy if you put just a dusting of baking soda
Yeah.
or
yeah.
bread soda or sodium bicarbonate, and a little bit of salt just to draw out the moisture. And then
Yeah.
after that, you can baste with like butter, olive oil, its own juices, get it all nice and crispy.
Sounds
So
really good.
yeah, obviously the um, the child's dream come true, the piece of resistance is the yams with the marshmallows toasted in the oven on top.
Yeah, we just got some marshmallows delivered from Tesco this morning, and my smaller kid is all there, and my older one, who has had American marshmallows, is like, this is garbage. I'm like, well, it's just different. But I'm like, I don't know, we're not going to go out and buy like expensive like Whole Foods marshmallows. I feel kind of like the cheaper is better, but I don't know.
Yeah,
everyone's a critic.
One time I made marshmallows. That was actually pretty good.
I did too. Yeah,
tried it once.
I've tried to do it. Not marshmallows like that, but I did a marshmallow frosting. It was, oh gosh, I'm blanking on her name. She is, her name goes along with Kenji J. Lopez's a lot. She does the book.
I can't help you. It's not coming to me.
Oh, she wrote Brave Tart. The book is called Brave Tart, and then there was like a marshmallow frosting recipe that I had tried one time.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's the only time I've ever tried to make anything remotely marshmallow-esque. But I didn't have a thermometer, so I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Stella Parks.
Like a candy thermometer.
Well done.
Stella Parks Brave Tarts.
Well done.
Wow, that looks good. Oh, I could go with like homemade Oreos. That sounds amazing. Looking at the cover of the book, it's beautiful.
I guess I don't know how this is related to Thanksgiving, other than it's like
it is
iconic American desserts, but it's really good. You just have to commit to the recipes because they are very involved. And it's kind of like when you watch Claire Saffitz on Bon Appetit when she tries to make the gourmet version of anything, and you're just like, I think I'll just buy the Cheetos. You're good.
Right. Oh gosh, that's amazing. I know. I guess that question for Joanne, I feel like at least here in Ireland, I feel like we go like kind of like you were saying, Sarah. Halloween, and then people have the Christmas tree up potentially. Do you think has it always been like that, or does it seem like it's one of those things that's faster every year? Or has there traditionally been something in between in terms of just giving it a little more?
No, there wouldn't really be anything in between Halloween and Christmas, no, and it does go faster every year. Yeah, it starts sooner every year, especially this year, I think. But like traditionally, it'd be kind of beginning of December. People put up Christmas trees, but now now it's kind of as soon as Halloween is over.
Yeah, and now Black Friday intrudes as well, which is very
yeah. But that is funny. Yeah,
I have to say the one nice thing, I don't want to say, but from 2020 is the fact that because of this virus, how many like Target and Walmart, they've all said months ago, we're not opening on Black Friday. And you're like, thank you. You should never have been open in the first place.
Yes, exactly. It's like, no, give people the day off, please.
Yeah.
Because wait, Black Friday is the day after Thanksgiving, am I right?
Yes.
Right?
It is.
Yeah. And people will stay up all night, or they will go to bed and they'll wake up and they'll be outside at like 11 midnight. I have a friend who does that, I guess, with her mom and her aunts. And I've never once in my entire life gone Black Friday shopping. And I'm very proud of that fact. I have no desire to step foot in a store that day.
No.
No,
even like it started here now, and madness.
Yeah, I find online, like, and I've done, when I worked at Amazon, it was sort of a nightmare. Like, yes, you had to be on call in case something terrible went wrong. But luckily, even in the teams I worked for, it was fine. It's actually worse on Prime Day, where much more can go wrong. But I mean, no one needs that extra, level of stress. And like when you see people like actually fighting over things that aren't actually that discounted, where you're like, was the $5 worth it? Like, no, it's things where it's such a completely manufactured event. There is something kind of just interesting from like a sociological point of view about it, where you're like, this is something that happens. People do this. Why? But it's
I don't even think any of the deals are that good.
No,
none of them are that good. And if I really wanted something, I would buy it when I want it. Like, I'm
Right.
not gonna wait for a day to do it.
Yeah, and I think kind of like you're saying, another kind of good thing of this whole is people are really shopping local and buying from local shops and local producers and trying to keep the money in the community. And I think the number of places and especially like the beer community
Mm.
here in Ireland has been amazing in terms of
Mm.
like getting online, getting out there, delivering. Like they've really come together. But there's so much out there, whether it's like Sarah, like knitting, if things like that. There's so much. Even just kids' toys that you would normally buy from Amazon, you can get them from some other place locally. It's just nice. It's gotten a lot easier to support local businesses because before you might have been like, I can just get it from Amazon. It'll take 2 days and fine. But now you're like, maybe I'll have an extra day, but it'll be from someone local and all good.
Yeah.
Yep.
So is that a good time to take a beer break?
Yes,
Yeah, I
it
think
is.
so.
Yeah,
Especially because
yeah.
I'll admit I'm trying the white hag. It is not for me. So I'm gonna
It's
swap that for something else.
That is cool.
Okay, so we'll be right back.
Yes, we'll be right back.
Hi, this is Hillary, and you're listening to the Beer Ladies Podcast.
Okay, so we're back, guys. So let's find out what everybody got on their beer break. Lisa, what have you got there?
So, sticking a little bit on theme, but away from pumpkin, I've gone for the Trouble Brewing Dark Arts. It's a porter.
Ooh.
I love a porter any time of year, but I feel like especially when it's sort of autumnal and crisp outside, it's really hard to beat just a lovely porter. And this one, I really, really love. Again, going for some local guys, but I think the other thing is I love that this porter is 4.4%. The equivalent in the U.S. Thinking about a Thanksgiving pairing would probably be 6.5%, maybe like 6.8, something in that ballpark. So it's not going to be as sessionable, but I think so much flavor for the 4.4. Just love all their stuff. Thanks, guys. The Trouble,
Yeah.
you're bringing it.
I like that porter. It's a good one. What about you, Bean?
Right. On the back nine, I've decided to chance a Ballykilcavan tiramisu dessert stout. And they're doing a Clancy's Cans series, sort of to honor a family that's been working on the farm for 5 generations. So this one is with Creed coffee roasters. So a little bit of a collab. And I like that they don't spray their field. That's terribly exciting. I appreciate that about them.
Absolutely.
So-
I love all their stuff. And I think they're doing a walnut whip one as their next Clancy coming out
Oh, wow.
around Christmas. So hopefully that sounds like a lovely dessert beer. So fingers crossed.
That might be a way to get my mom onto beer.
one.
She loves the walnut whip.
Yes.
How about you, Sarah?
I picked up the Brewdog. It's the Brewdog Nitro Jet Black Heart Vanilla Oatmeal Milk Stout.
Ooh.
I just poured earlier on camera. For
Nice.
anybody who's watching, it was
Oh.
a beautiful pour.
Oh,
But
lovely. Look at that. Yes.
6%.
Yes.
Very
Yes.
nice.
For anyone who's just listening, there's lovely head on it. It
Mm.
was beautifully done.
Yeah, it's 6%, and I'm excited about this. I just saw it in the shop this afternoon, and I just thought, vanilla oatmeal milk stout. That sounds like something that would. I don't know if it would. I don't know. I'm not good at food pairings with beer, but I think it would go really nicely with a slice of pumpkin pie, maybe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're on dessert now.
What about you, Joanne?
So I have Kinnegar Bucket and Spade, their session rye
lovely.
IPA. So I'm working tomorrow, so I'm going for low ABV things. This is So this is, what was it? It's 4.4, I think I saw. 4.2 even. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
So-
love it. Yeah, all their stuff is so tasty.
Yeah, no, I love Kinnegar. They're really good. Really, really good.
Oh yeah, 7.8.
Wow.
But if it's a dessert beer, it's a dessert
Start
beer.
with
so
the bang.
Yeah.
there you go. And I will say again, shout out to all of our Irish brewers, because there are a lot of really good double IPAs or stronger stouts out at the moment that normally I'm not the biggest fan of some of the American ones you get, because they can be so extreme and so kind of hitting you over the head. Not all of them. There are some that are amazing, but some that are just kind of there to make their presence known. The ones I've had here have been amazing, that like from Ballykilcavan or Hope, just really, really good stuff. So guys, keep making great beer. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I may not know the words for it, but I very much enjoy it.
Yeah. I really think
that's the main thing.
This year, like 2020 for Irish craft beer has been standout in my mind. I've had some really great ones during lockdown.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just
Yeah.
because I can enjoy them a little bit more, or there's nothing else to enjoy. So
That's all that is left to us.
this is all I have. Don't take it away from me.
No, it is the worst. It is why I get up at stupid o'clock on Friday morning to do a long run before, and every Friday I have a standing meeting at 8:30, which no one should have, but I have. But I need to get my exercise in so that when 5 o'clock comes around, it's all good. Pizza and beer. We're just going for it. We put on Bake Off and just I both watch the carbs and inhale the carbs, but it's okay because I did the thing. So.
Fantastic. That is balance.
Right. And I don't see other people
Absolutely.
who don't live in my household. So it's all, it's all perfect. It's all,
Ooh, okay.
all counts.
That's an example of not a great pour.
That's some head.
Oh, it's still pretty though.
I love the phrasing. I love
That's
it.
what she said. Yeah.
I cannot get enough
Exactly.
of it. That is
That's some great
what she
head.
said for sure.
Oh.
Enough with the head jokes.
There's never enough head jokes.
This podcast is 18 plus.
You know it.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I don't know what oh no, go ahead, Sarah.
I was gonna say, who's gonna make pumpkin pie? Because
You know what? Yeah.
I made
Ooh.
I made one a couple of months ago. Just before Halloween. That's not a couple of months ago. Anyway, like a week or two.
Yeah,
before
time doesn't
Halloween.
matter. It's all
The pumpkins were there. I bought a pumpkin and I made a pumpkin pie, and it was really nice. It was the texture was funny, but the texture reminded me of something that we have here called gurt cake, I think. Just the texture of the fruity bit, of the vegetable bit. It was good, if I may say so myself. It was pretty
I bet
nice.
it was amazing.
Yeah.
I've never had a pumpkin pie made from scratch. It's always been pumpkin puree.
Yeah.
The cans, Libby's, the classic can of Libby's. So,
well, you're in excellent company. Like, my brother and my sister-in-law gave me a copy of Samin Nosrat's Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat.
Oh yeah,
I want that book so much.
He is totally into the can of pumpkin, and also I was trying to crib good flavor combos off her too, because she has really good almost color wheels of flavors you can stick together, and flavors from around the world and stuff.
Now that book is on my Christmas wish
you.
list. I want that book so much. I loved her show on Netflix.
Yeah, wasn't it
really
heartwarming?
nice.
She's like the next Julia Child.
I know. I wish she would do another one, but I don't think she's going to.
No, I enjoyed that. We've also been watching Stump Sola, which is great.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And she just did because I was thinking of her because with the turkey, right? With the astronaut.
Oh yes, the astronaut one. Yes, it was a lot of fun. Highly recommend that.
I think for myself, it is maybe too involved to decompartmentalize, dismember the whole bird and do the whole pan and finish in the oven and the butter basting.
Right.
To me, spatchcocking is a huge step for mankind. And I'm happy to stop there.
I am the person who puts the turkey in the bag to keep it moist. Okay. And it's important. That's just what I do. You just put it in that roasting bag and it comes out great. And I'm just my husband has got me onto putting strips of bacon on it.
Oh, good.
Yes.
That's a very my mom does. That's exactly what she does. Yeah.
Yeah. And bacon makes everything better. So
absolutely.
It goes so crispy and it's really good. Like the bacon bit.
Has the sort of deep fat fryer turkey thing come to Ireland, or is that just a very American thing? Because I feel like every year now, for maybe the past 5 or maybe even longer years, there's been people injure themselves horribly with the deep fat fryer that they have the turkey in. They burn themselves, and you're like, and I know people who have done an amazing job with it, who are being thoughtful with it, reading the instructions, doing it the right way, not getting too drunk before
going out
and
a whole turkey in, or
but you just drop the
Dip it right
whole
in.
turkey in.
The whole turkey in.
Yeah.
That must be
Yeah.
a big ass deep fat
It's
fryer.
Yeah.
they're big. They're big, and you can see
Wow.
like how they're just fraught with danger because
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There was a show. Have you guys ever seen the British show? I used to be obsessed with it years ago. Come Dine with Me.
Oh, I remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There
I remember it,
was.
but I didn't really watch it.
I don't know if this was the one time. It's British, but then they did it a couple years in Ireland, and I don't remember if it was here in Ireland or if it was in the UK. But either way, they had a Canadian guy on, and it wasn't Thanksgiving, but he did a Thanksgiving dinner, and he deep fat fried a turkey just like that. And I think it was. Let me just say it was the British one, and all of these English people, like their minds were like, like, what are you doing? And even for me, I've never seen that before. I was like, that's kind of like you went deep on the stereotypes, man.
Right. Although you know who does it well is my buddy Lou Bryce, and whiskey writer. He's amazing. He does it every year without injuring himself or others, so it can be done. He's the one I watch for. But yeah, the other people, people will get a notion and go out and buy the fryer, and then just the trip to A&E effectively.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Public service
Coming.
announcement.
Yeah.
Don't throw water on a grease fire.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
no.
No, and it's like fireworks for Halloween here, where it's going to happen. Like, it's going to be,
Yeah.
there's going to be an issue, and yet there you go. But
So,
and
yeah.
I think it's because you don't get like the public service announcements, because it's like I guess because it tends to be like middle-aged dads who get an idea and go off and do the thing, and then it goes wrong.
What are they having, like a midlife crisis? Like, you know what I need to do to like satisfy myself in life? Fry the hell out of a turkey.
I think it's that, or like a smoker, like, because I've had friends
Yeah.
who have gotten like way into it and have gone and like got a smoker for their back garden and are smoking meat for weeks or months or however long, which if you've got the room and time,
I approve that message though.
go
If-
for it.
I would
Yes.
totally buy a smoker. Like if that meant I had like some excellent meat all the time.
Right. I know. I mean, again, if you've got the time in the room and you're not gonna
Why
like
not?
burn down, your neighborhood, all good. But yeah, I don't know. And I guess that's like the other thing about sort of Thanksgiving is people will get sort of competitive and next level with it to a certain extent. But then sometimes it can go horribly wrong, and you're like, how do you just like dial it back and be like, you know what, we can all just chill out and have a beer and it's good enough, But I wonder too, like I feel like I used to find more kind of sort of harvest beers, like kind of that would come in between your Oktoberfests and kind of your pumpkin beers, and I've not seen as many in Ireland, so I don't know if it's just a very American thing or even if it's a Canadian thing, because I've seen some in Canada as well, but fewer here, and I wonder if that's kind of
Yeah.
a maybe even more of a West Coast thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
I don't
can't
think
tell
it's
you.
a thing here, really. Not that I've
Yeah.
seen, anyway.
Yeah, I was in the shop earlier picking up my beers for this, and I was just like, it kind of went from, light, summery kind of beers straight into stouts and porters. And I
Yeah.
was trying to find something in the middle. I was looking for something spicy, but I don't know if my shop just didn't have it or I wasn't seeing it, but I was kind of thinking about what I would see in the grocery stores or the grocery stores back home right now, and I just know that there would be like absolute swathe of like autumnal spicy
Yeah.
brown beers and amber ales, and I don't know, just
Yeah.
all the different flavors that you would see. There'd be so much more selection, and I that's what I miss from.
Yeah, I
that's
feel like
what
there'd be more hoppy browns and more hoppy porters than you
Yeah.
see, which can be lovely. In fact, although even I wonder if they've kind of fallen out of favor there too, to a certain extent, with all the sort of hazy IPAs everywhere. Because I know, like, one of my favorites, there's amazing porter made by Trogs in Pennsylvania that they only make for Halloween and sort of Thanksgiving. It's called Dead Reckoning. It's a hoppy porter, but now it's like a brew pub only thing. They used to distribute it statewide, and now it's just like this little seasonal thing that's only local. And I'm like, I wonder, did taste change? Because I looked forward to that beer every year. It was amazing, and now you can't get it unless you're kind of in Hershey, Pennsylvania. And I'm like, well, that doesn't help me. But I do wonder, have tastes changed? And so there's so much kind of just haze boys, or just I don't know if people have been like watching on beer Instagram or beer Twitter. It's been like, look at my beer that looks like slime, and you're like, really? Are we doing this? Like,
Yeah, for me on my Beerstagram. Beerstagram. I hate saying it. Like I can read it, but I feel like a dick when I say Beerstagram. But like my beer Instagram is like a lot of it is very pastry oriented or food oriented, and it's a beer that basically matches the food that you're eating. And I'm like, I don't want that. Like I had a friend of mine who posted it like something, I can't remember, it was a donut kind of based beer.
oh,
I'm like, that's the worst thing I can imagine. I don't like donuts, and I just it's so much sweetness, and
yeah.
I want more. When I have a beer, I want to feel like I'm drinking a beer, not drinking a pastry. But I think that for the breweries that I follow at home online, a lot of that is what they're doing for the last year at least.
Yeah,
Brewing
it's
candy.
definitely the past couple of years. Yeah, it's like, and although I do kind of hope eventually, maybe as the industry gets bigger, we may see more fresh hop beers. Like Ballykilcavan has a fresh hop beer, and that is gorgeous, because I think that's another nice sort of autumnal tradition. But it's very much just was kind of a Pacific Northwest one, because that's where they grow them, and so that's when you harvest them, and you can just get them right into your beer. And there are some amazing ones. Then there are some too that again kind of go beyond, that sort of just being lovely, and you're like, look at all the hops we put in our beer, it's extreme, and you're like, guys, it could have been amazing, and you just made it like kind of gross. But yeah, but that would be nice. I do really really like it. If you have a chance, pick up the Ballykilcavan fresh hop one this year. It's lovely, just really nice kind of floral hops, really really good.
Okie dokie smoky. Can I go on a bit of a tangent and hopefully come back around to,
of course,
we love tangents.
to a bit of an audience poll? And by audience, I mean a co-host poll.
please.
Because I'm with you guys right now. And then audience will just have to do the poll in their own heads, and maybe into the email and the Twitter and the Beerstagram. But so where to start? So Samin Nosrat really has got her recipe for the tinned pumpkin. I have a great recipe, I think, from Joy of Baking for a fresh or canned pumpkin. Doesn't matter.
That was the one I used, I think, that you said.
Oh,
Okay.
I think it's a great one.
Yeah,
and it's
good,
got the baked, so the pie crust. And a little tip for that is that if you dose it with a little bit of vodka, you get a flakier, maybe a little bit drier crust, because the vodka will escape, leaving you with like less water in the crust overall.
I have heard that before.
I think you can probably BA test kitchen that for a little on camera moral support. So that recipe comes with a little pecan cookie crumb layer as well.
That sounds good.
Ooh.
And so I was wondering if the so here's the poll, right? It's kind of a shout out to Lisa. You were talking about spinnakers in Vancouver Island in Victoria, BC. And also a shout out to like Erica's project with the spent grain. And I wondered what you guys would think of like a spent grain pecan crust on the bottom of a pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Yeah, here for this. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I think that sounds really interesting. I'd try it.
We're all going to beans for dessert then.
Yes. And look, I even have a pumpkin.
Oh,
from Jenny McNally of McNally Family Farms in North County, Dublin.
That's lovely.
This whole pumpkin
and
was
you know
only a $5. And it's a beautiful one. It's a crown prince.
Nice. Ooh, I get very into sort of pumpkin varietals. Like what my husband's family does for both sort of Thanksgiving and Christmas is they get all their seed catalogs and they start looking through them and decide what they're going to grow next year. So it's kind of weird to not be doing that. But yeah, because when we move, we're still not going to have a big garden by any means. But that's interesting. And I do love a pecan pie. I'm not generally a big kind of dessert pie person for the most part, but a pecan pie. Yeah. Or the other one I like is derby pie. But those it's got to have that.
What's a derby pie?
Well, a Derby pie I think is technically trademarked, but you can get it at Churchill Downs if you go to the museum, if you're there at the track, and I think there's a hotel you can get it from in Louisville. But it's similar to a pecan pie, but it's a little more chocolatey, or it's also similar to a chess pie, where it's very chocolatey but also kind of nutty. Very very southern certainly, but and I'm sure it's got a ton of molasses or something as well.
Oh,
But
yum.
it's
A lot of sugar.
very yeah.
A lot
Lots of sugar, lots of chocolate, just good
Mm.
good stuff. Although I like a
Ooh,
pecan pie, I love the nuttiness.
that
It
sounds
just gives a bit of
Mm.
a like, even though it's sweet, you feel like, oh, this has nuts. That's good for me. So it's a
Yeah.
little better.
I would say for Thanksgiving, I actually am not a pumpkin pie fan. It's okay. I'll have a slice. You're going to force it on me. I'm not going to say no, but I'm just not a pumpkin pie person. I would rather have a pecan pie. I actually don't even know how to say pecan.
See,
It
I say
doesn't
it two
matter to
ways.
me.
Yeah.
It's
Pecan.
it's interchanged. It's
Pecan.
pecan
Pecan.
pie.
Pecan.
Or apple pie. I really like. I'm not I like pies. I don't know. I'm just not a pumpkin pie person.
That is fair.
So it's kind of wasted for me on Thanksgiving. I like pumpkin, like snickerdoodles or other pumpkin things.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. I like other things with pumpkin like that. Yeah, pumpkin snickerdoodles are really good, or certainly the pumpkin seeds I love, but the pumpkin pie is not my thing. But
No.
except the crust, I'll eat the crust.
Yeah, no, I usually just go straight for the crust. I'm like, you can have the pumpkin part. I'm gonna eat the crust.
I actually really like the feeling now that I'm onto From Fresh with it, because I think you can try the varieties of pumpkins. So you
Yeah.
can get the little orange, like, I can't actually even say the name. I can almost see it in my head. Uchiki curry, the little orange sugar pumpkins.
Oh, okay.
I don't, yeah, there's a few of these different ones, and the nice gray skinned pumpkins, or even like a Hubbard one. I like that now that I've discovered this. And then I tried sun-dried tomato with the pumpkin, and like some rainbow chard and spinach and kale. Like, if you were
Oh.
gonna take it
Mm.
off the rails this year, and if you could find yourself a nice farmer's market pumpkin, or even just like a butternut squash, should be pretty ubiquitous.
I like butternut squash. Yeah.
Like, you might just even chop and change with the flavors and look up a few things, and have that with a Western Herd wheat beer or something kind of hazy and similar. But I'm so into these pumpkins, and I was also really excited by that idea of spent grains. Such a good
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, I
And
really like
Could
that
you have like
idea.
spent grain snickerdoodles? And we're gonna have to have Erica back on. And
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I bet you could. I like this idea of going savory with it. I bet you could make some amazing crackers or like flatbreads or something. That could be really nice.
That would be good.
Mm.
I'd be
Yeah.
down with
yeah,
that.
like spicy cheese crackers
Yeah.
or something.
Oh yeah.
I love that. And there's
There's
so much.
so
amazing-
much you could do with it.
Yeah. Oh, that would be.
And it'd be
tasty.
partly digested. Well, we're just going to have Erica part 2, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
Be like, we've had ideas. Are they?
Are these gonna work? Like, back to the test kitchen.
Yes. Tell us with science.
I know. Like,
And can you dehydrate them for space?
Yes.
we should, how they have the America's Test Kitchen, which I love the America's Test Kitchen, but we should have like the Beer Ladies Test Kitchen, where we like pull all our ideas and be like, let's try and see what we can make with this.
Best of
That is
bridge.
a good idea.
Best of
That would
bridge,
be
the next
interesting.
generation.
Oh, like we could, beforehand share a recipe
Mm.
and we cook it individually and taste
Take
it. But then
notes.
See how it went. See who had what
Yeah.
disaster,
Yeah,
and who hacked a solution.
yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'd have to have a guest on. I'd have to have my husband on, because he does all of the things in the kitchen. I just break things. So all I really
Yeah.
know how to do is go in and put the kettle on. That's as far as I go.
I'm really good at the kettle too.
It's a special skill. I can dunk.
have to
Is
say,
there water in? Shoot.
No, ours is
Oh.
difficult because it's dual temperature. So I need to know what kind of tea we're making. So, there's
Oh.
thoughts gone into it. It's
Oh,
not
yeah,
just,
yeah.
not just
It's
turning
not
it
just
on.
that, yeah.
Yeah,
It's a complicated
just-
kettle.
exactly.
hitting the
Yeah.
switch before it really reaches the full boil.
I do a lot of that. Yes. Especially if I've had my green tea in the morning. I kind of stop it early. But
I have to say, I think the technical department here at Bean Industries is much better at deciding on a recipe, following the recipe, and making a really good recipe. And then I'm well, do we have it? Well, then let's put it in the one pot wonder.
Michael is very much he has to have a recipe, and he can cook well, but he has to have a recipe. He has to have time. He has to prepare and get everything sorted, and he doesn't like any of these measurements of teaspoons, and
yeah.
it drives him crazy.
How many
Whereas I
milliliters?
just chuck
Milliliters.
everything in, and
Yeah. Does it
see
need a
what
little
happens.
more salt? Well,
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah, just chuck it in.
Yeah.
But he can't cope with that, because if I ask him to make something, then I don't know how much salt I put in. I just just until it looks right, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys know a guy, Dan Pashman, with the Sporkful podcast?
Oh, I don't know that one, but it sounds good.
I'm sure you'll like it. I was looking for this one kind of Turkey Day centric episode, and I cannot find it. So if anyone can find it, then please send it, because I would love to listen to it again. But his guest, Dan Pashman's guest, was very zen, and he was talking about trying to construct the perfect bite. And again, maybe a little poll if you guys have ever tried to construct, like even as children, maybe the perfect bite, like, you'd save a little bit of
everything.
You gotta have like it's a little bit of
amount
like
of
green bean casserole with the crunchy onions, a little bit of mashed potatoes. You got to dip it in the gravy, but you also need, I don't like turkey. Well, you can have a little bit of turkey there, but I would have like honey baked ham, a bit of ham, put it all in one fork, you dip it, and you got a little bread with butter, and you're like, that's it. Oh wait, cranberries! I forgot the cranberries.
Oh no.
I would spend ages actually trying to engineer the perfect bite. So that was a real actual memory for me. But I still remember, and I swear that this was a real episode. Because there's this sound bite about a string bean that you did not anticipate coming together for this just spontaneous, the perfect bite, which you weren't actually trying for, but for whatever
It just
reason,
happened.
it just happens. And you're like, this is the moment that I was trying to make, and now it's lost.
So I forgot to appreciate it.
The perfect bite.
That reminds, it's kind of like when you think about Thanksgiving leftovers and you have everything, and then the Thanksgiving presentation is so nice and beautiful and it's there, but then the leftovers are like everything on a plate. You fuck it on a plate and you put it in the microwave and you microwave it, and then you're just eating it and you're like, this doesn't make any sense, but it works. And then people start making like Thanksgiving sandwiches with everything on there.
I love that. Yeah.
And it reminds me, like at Lidl, you know how Lidl here, they have like their American stuff. I guess this isn't the American thing, but they come out with a special pizza, a deluxe pizza every winter. And it's basically Thanksgiving on a pizza, like,
oh gosh,
with Brussels sprouts and like turkey and cranberries. And I don't know, it's a bunch of random stuff. And I'm like,
Okay.
that's so disgusting. But also, maybe this might work.
It's true. It's so true that actually my favorite part was after it was the leftovers the day after. That was the best part.
Yeah, I love that.
Like the stuffing had really
settle.
melded, and like the turkey had kind of sat in its juices and settled down. And also all the hullabaloo from the day before, was over. And leftover day.
I'd always get so mad when my dad ate all the stuffing and he didn't leave any for me. And I'm like, damn it, Dad, that's my favorite part. You ate it.
Me too.
The thing about dads is they take such big bites.
Yeah.
Just like, but how do you fit it in you? I don't know. But it really is the day after is really when the food, like the flavors come together and you're just like, this is what Thanksgiving is about. It's not Thanksgiving. It's the day after.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's much more low stress. You're just hanging out, recovering. It's all fine. And maybe you've gone for a run, or not. You don't have to, but if you have, like, it's fun, and everyone's just out there to enjoy, not to like try to get a PR or something. No, you're just out to, and you might even be in a costume. You might literally be dressed as a reindeer. Like, it's all good. It's fun.
At least on the West Coast.
It happens. I will say I've never run as a reindeer. I've been Loki. I've been Joy from Inside Out. I've done a lot of costume races, but
I've been last place. So
hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
I've been passed by my old boss, who was like 30 years older than me. So.
I don't know. I always feel like I've done something if I like see like maybe like a 10 or 11-year-old kid in front of me, and I'm like, no way.
Yeah.
No, it's not happening.
It's bad though, like when you do like a 5 or 10K, I don't know this is years ago, but you start out running and then you're like, oh, I can't do this. So you start walking really fast and then you see the finish line off in the distance and you're like, I'm at least going to run past here for me. And they're not like, wow, that's pathetic. I'm like, no, I made it.
It's all good. Oh my gosh. Although I will say once, and this I think this was a Thanksgiving race. No, I think it was, because this was a Run Disney one. I think we were there for Thanksgiving. It was right after the Avengers, or no, it was the other Thor movie. The second Thor movie had come out, and there was someone in the full like Kate Blanchett costume, like literally a week after it had come out, doing the half marathon with like arm stuff like head to toe. I was like, that's some work. Like I'm just here to like, run the 10K or the half marathon and then drink a lot of beer after, but like, you look amazing. Like, fair play. So I'm always here for people who like bring it. It's super cool. But I do not have that skill at costume making, nor am I that fast. So
Okay. So thanks for coming. That's it for this week. Don't forget, you can catch us on YouTube. We're also on social media, on Facebook and Instagram, and also Twitter. Thanks for listening. See you next time.
thanks.
Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, we really will have to do a like words for smells episode.
Yeah.
That would be
Words for smells for idiots episode.
This one smells sweet and like caramelly dark beerness.